Oh my God, Anita.
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willy Bragg Show. I'm Willy Bragg. I hope each and every one of you are doing very well. I am going to do a short video today, and hopefully I will have an interview set up around 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that's a little spoiler alert for you guys. And granted, if the technology here is going to work in my favor. So I will play the actual video clip from Real Time with Bill Maher, but it's on HBO, and I have no idea what the copyright rules are and how fair use would work. And so I don't want to have a channel of my video struck down and all of that. I've had some videos struck down before because of it. So what I'm going to do instead, I think that what I should do instead is I'm going to discuss primarily Bill Maher and Krystal Ball. And most of the people, my audience, know who they are, so they don't really need any introduction. There was one other person that was there named James, what was that person's name? James Kirkchick, who was basically a moron, but I digress. But Bill Maher basically was asking the question that Joe Biden, is he gone? Did he basically go too far left? Is he governing too far left? That is what Joe Biden is asking. Is he governing too far left? And it's an annoying question because there's a misnomer out there that Joe Biden is governing too far left, or he's being under the control of the far left. The Republicans are saying it. Democrats are almost believing it. And I am afraid that with the likely outcome of the 2022 midterms, if the Republicans gain in the House and the Senate, that we will have another the era of big government is over moment like it was under Bill Clinton, where the Democrats got slaughtered for the first time since 1954, where they lost both houses, and Bill Clinton was running for cover. And then he tried everything he could to accommodate with the Republicans, and basically was Newt Gingrich's bitch to be held on a leash. And every time he tried to accommodate with the Republicans, and the Republicans just sat there and just humiliated him and slapped him around and all of that. And then what did Bill Clinton and the corporate Democrats do at that time? They sat there and they wagged their finger at the left and acting like they were the problem. So I'm afraid that that's what we're headed back to right now. So anyway, Bill Maher asked, did Joe Biden, is Joe Biden governing too far left? And I love how Krystal Ball answered that question. She basically said, Joe Biden was at his most popular with the COVID relief bill in the beginning of his presidency, when we basically got $2,000. We really got $1,400 because the $600 we had previously was from the last administration, when there was not going to be a COVID relief, because the Democrats were happy with the election results, and they figured that they didn't have to do that anymore, and there was some pushbacks, and I think that was kind of a way of Donald Trump trying to almost trying to bribe that special election down in Georgia as well, which elected John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock with that election's results. But so you have some Republicans who were actually favorable to some kind of a $2,000 check even back then. That all of a sudden, any chance of a relief once Joe Biden came in was, there was all talks about that was off the table, because they're partisan hacks too. So they pretend to be populist at that moment. Then as soon as there's a changing of the guard, all the populism talk disappeared. So, they still pretend to be populist, but they try to have it both ways. But Krystal Ball said, the relief bill were basically $2,000, $1,400 and $600 combined, $2,000. That was very popular. Joe Biden was riding high on the polls, and and the Build Back Better plan that didn't pass, and it was not necessarily the greatest plan in the world, but it was a fairly decent plan. Must have been maybe one of the most thoughtful plans out since LBJ's Great Society, and it was rejected. And it wasn't even a so-called welfare giveaway goodie program. It was basically 2-year tuition-free community college, prescription drug reforms, where the U.S. government negotiate for lower drug prices, lowering Medicare eligibility down to 60, which that would have been the public option. It would have been things of that nature. There were provisions in there that would have probably carried us a little bit closer into a more progressive direction, and people like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema were an obstacle to progress in that regard, and they killed it. They killed that plan. Well, I mean, this James Kirkchick guy that was there with them was basically talking about economic versus woke left and everything, and he was talking about the economic populist left. But what the problem is, that when the right brings this up about economic versus woke left, whenever the actual left brings up the topics of economic populism, then all of a sudden they end up calling it woke. So they try to have it both ways. Now, Joe Biden, honestly, what Joe Biden needs to do when it comes right down to it is basically this. And this is basically my take on this, and it comes down to what to do with regard to basically a gridlock because of two corporate Democrats, primarily two corporate Democrats. There are others, but primarily two corporate Democrats working with Republicans who are actually blocking progress. If Joe Biden was really the progressive that the right were scared of him being, or that AOC claims was going beyond wild expectations, he would take that fucking ink pen and do some fucking executive orders and do things like legalize marijuana, things like Medicare for all, or do a public option, a $15 hour minimum wage, student debt relief, or another stimulus check, perhaps. Those gestures will show you that he's trying to do something. He's done nothing. And I don't think he is going to do anything. And he's done nothing but be the Mitt Romney or the John McCain or the Bob Dole this country never had. That's what he's done. That's what he's accomplished. And but when you have a right-wing media, and I consider CNN right-wing too, by the way. I'm actually even considering MSNBC right-wing. So, I mean, honestly, when you're not speaking to the concerns of working class people, you are right-wing. And, even with the last administration, the handling of COVID and things like that, and, inflation that we have today, Bill Maher was absolutely upset that people were getting a check from the U.S. government with the COVID relief. And he claims that that's tied in with inflation. And what's so the fallacy with that is these are the people, a lot of conservatives that will talk about wanting to put money in people's pockets through a tax cut. This is a reverse tax cut, if you think about it. I mean, honestly, if it's the people's money, you're putting the people's money back in their pockets. So, I mean, where was the harm in that? And the original $1,200 that a lot of people were getting back 2.5 years ago, one of the few good things that Donald Trump did. But it was ruined with Steve Mnuchin, who was the Treasury Secretary, telling U.S. corporations and corporations that were not in the U.S., giving them several $1 trillion to say, hey, we're going to give you these trillions. Please don't lay off all these employees. The U.S. government gave trillions to these companies, and the companies still lay off these employees all over the place. I mean, if there was one area where Donald Trump deserved to lose the election, was in that area. Instead of bailing out those fucking corporations who made off like bandits, he could have worked on a Medicare for All plan right there. He could have shown that he was a true populist, but instead, he decided to be an eccentric Mitch McConnell, giving money to corporations. That's basically what it came down to. So, some damn populist he turned out to be, for real. And so, anyway, it comes down to this as well. When it comes to Bill Maher, who used to be, a relatively decent person with relatively decent takes on political issues, ended up taking notes from idiots like Ben Shapiro. So he went from being a Bernie bro in 2016 to supporting Amy Klobuchar in 2020. And then from there, everything is woke this and woke that and woke that and woke that and woke that and woke that. That's Bill Maher's mantra these days. And, this crap started with Dave Rubin and it's now coming into some of the more mainstream people in the entertainment world doing this sort of thing. So right now, just to get mad at stimulus checks instead of corporate bailouts is beyond me, and just proves what a fraud someone like him is. But I'm gonna tell you, Krystal Ball, she handled it well, and I'm proud of her what she did. And I wish I could have played it right now, but as I said, you had to be careful because of the copyright thing. They're getting a little more strict on this sort of thing, and because of that, I have to be careful what I post video wise right now. So, but Krystal Ball, pretty much, who was a Bernie Sanders supporter in 2016 and in 2020, he has the correct formula when it comes to taking on the powers that be, and it takes on challenging big corporations. not coddling them like the Republicans and corporate Democrats like to do. And that's where we're at. So I am glad that Krystal Ball was able to destroy Bill Maher on the program. But the only downside to it is he probably will not have her back as a result. So that's what I see as a downside. So right now we have Shayar. Hello, how are you doing today? Let's see, Yona Aniwodi. Oh, how are you doing? Getting his feelings again. Hey, how are you? Oh, it's been a while. Let's see. Vote blue balls, no matter who. Chew sniffy, pedo, swallow that goo. Yeah, no thanks to Joe Biden. I mean, he's not a pedo, but Joe Biden is a piece of work. I don't like Joe Biden. I'm glad I didn't vote for him. I mean, I actually was worried that if I didn't vote for him, what if he won and I didn't vote for him, he'd start doing some positive things and become the new FDR. But that didn't happen, so I'm glad I voted for Howie Hawkins. Let's see. Free your Willy. Let's see. Properganda Live said, hey, Properganda, welcome back. Willy is an OG shoe on head simp. Yeah, I wish you'll do more videos. Willy has a yes. I bought a shoe on head. I bought a shoe on head. Yeah, I bought a shoe on head plushie a couple of years ago. I saw that. I was like, I will buy one of those. So it may be a collector's item one day. Let's see, crusty balls. There's an ointment for that. Oh yeah, perhaps there is. So anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment anyway, regardless. And feel free to share if you like. Create your own platform if you like. Because remember, we still have relative free speech that we need to utilize while it still exists. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And remember, we need to wage class warfare against those crony capitalists to do away with all this income inequality that's been plaguing us. We need to go and find alternatives to war, because war is a racket that only serves the interests of the military-industrial complex and fatten the bank accounts of the defense contractors. We need to fight for equality because we're all equal, every one of us, regardless of who we are. And we need to fight for free speech, because when we do, we defend our own free speech. And we need to defend freedom of the press, because when people like Julian Assange isn't free, none of us are free, which makes us all Julian Assange at the end of the day. So I part ways right now. I may be back by 4 o'clock, or maybe a little bit before 4 o'clock, if it works out that way. If not, I will see y'all next time. I am working out a lot of bugs on my software, so just hang on tight. If there is a video, there should be a video coming up in a little bit. So y'all take care, and we will chat once again. I will conclude by saying to you all, music, as soon as I can.
You can now get
no commercial.
Right now at
No commercial.
Plus, get hundreds of items.
I fucked up, so hold on a second. I will be exiting out of here momentarily. Okay, here we go. Take care.